All right, welcome back to the Assistant Desk Podcast here. I'm your host, George D'Angikis, alongside my co-host here, Chris D'Angikis. We're Division I lacrosse assistant coaches, and we're excited to have Ben Garcia from Drexel Men's Lacrosse here with us today. We're going to get into his coaching journey, some things he's learned along the way, and some stories from the recruiting trail.
Let's do it. Welcome
in, Ben. How you doing?
Doing well. Appreciate you guys having me. I'm excited.
Awesome,
man.
Awesome.
We're excited to get into it.
Yeah, man. So we'll kind of get into it here. Drexel, obviously an awesome story program in the CAA, another awesome conference.
Sure.
For lacrosse and other sports as well. Tell us how you got there. Where did the coaching journey for you start? Give us some stops along the way.
Yeah, so this was my second year at Drexel. I joined in the fall of 2024, and it was, some coaches always say they had like a knack for coaching, or it was always they wanted to be a coach. I'm the son of a coach. My dad always coached me a lot, but it was never really something that I saw myself doing, especially at the college level and for lacrosse.
Yeah.
But I played at St. Bonaventure University, and during my career, I was kind of blessed and cursed with having a couple extra redshirt years. And during my graduate program, I had a lot more downtime on my hands, and I was able to spend it in Coach Mearns' office a lot. We just talked X's and O's, our former D coordinator, Coach Capron. And the more that I really spent time in the office with those guys was more that I started to kind of fall in love with a different aspect of the game of really not just being a student as a player, but being a teacher as well, and kind of using my leadership to talk to the younger guys. And then when it came time to the unfortunate job hunting, that's when I started to really see what was out there. And being from the Philadelphia area and being very familiar with Drexel and how historic of a program it is,
Sure.
Coach Stephen Boyle was just named the head coach at the time, and brought me onto campus, and I fell in love with it and been there now for 2 years, and I've loved every second of it.
That's awesome, man. So
That's great.
So Drexel's your first coaching opportunity out of college, right? That's awesome. That's
awesome.
Did you look at any other places, or was it kind of like, hey, stick around home, right? Stick around where an area that you knew, or were you kind of? I know plenty of guys. I mean, they come up to our offices, my office, whatever it may be, and they're like guys that were in your seat, right? They were players, and they're like, hey, I kind of want to do this. I want to do what you guys do. It's fun, but like you said, you didn't have that initially. But they want to go. They're open to go Florida, Texas, get into a high school program or a club. Did you look anywhere else, or was it kind of just all the stars aligned for you?
I was looking at other places, with how lacrosse is, a lot of it, along that East Coast area.
Yeah.
But it was just a perfect fit of being at home, and you guys know what it's like being in, once you get your foot into the door, it's more about the passion of coaching, obviously, rather than the salary or anything. And that's what's really driven me, is just the love for coaching and teaching. So being able to just kind of stay at home at first and be in a place that I was very familiar with has also helped me to be able to, in a way, from the coaching standpoint, sell Philadelphia, sell this area.
Yeah,
absolutely. Grown up on it, I'm now 27 years of Philadelphia, so it's it was kind of like the perfect storm for me.
Love it.
What's your Philly cheesesteak order? Like, do you have a specific place? What's your spot? I need to get into it. I need to know. What's your spot?
Yeah, we're coming up on lunch stops. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Pass it to Philly. Yeah, we're gonna hop off, get a quick steak and cheese, and keep going.
Oh yeah, it's Angela's by far. Angela's.
All right. All right.
I always get just cheesesteak, Cooper sharp cheese, onions, a little bit of ketchup, salt and pepper, and it's the best that I've ever had. I'll say that.
Standard. That's it right there.
That is the standard. That's the standard.
I wrote it down.
Write that down. We gotta hit that on the road.
I wrote it down. I hit it on the road. We'll be getting into some recruiting stuff here as we're talking about it before we got on here. Hitting the road soon, and that's gonna be one of the stop. Angelo's Pizza. All right, we're gonna circle. We'll circle back on that one for sure. So with coaching and being an assistant, what's the biggest challenge you face as an assistant?
The biggest challenge for me has been just finding new ways every day to be creative in, how you teach things and not being stagnant. I know as a player, you always think the coaches have the answers to everything, every question that the player asks, everything that's thrown at you in a game. And obviously, you have a lot more practices than games. So it's a lot more time of how can we teach this part of the game? How can we teach sliding and not do the same drill every day? How can we teach the face-off guys to you don't just blow a whistle and say, hey, you're going to be now 56% of the year because I just blew a whistle for you, 300 days in a row. It's really just finding how to be creative with the guys, keeping them engaged, and making sure that there's different ways to get better every single day, and just doing that over and over again. And even from year 1 to year 2, I've now found different ways from how I was teaching the game last year into this year, and just continue to find your voice and keep that connection with guys. And, it's been a lot of fun, discovering these different ways. And I've loved going to these showcases and different tournaments, chatting it up. Obviously, you guys know with the different coaches of, what are some drills that you guys do for this? And I've learned so much more from these showcases than I ever thought I would have.
That's a great point. I mean, we all travel everywhere, and, you go to some of these showcases, and the kids are there. So, like, do the job, right? And it's like what we do every single day. So I like that point. And, I found out early in my career, like, that's how you find your voice, right? You don't want to find your voice at the first fall ball practice,
right,
or during season. Like, use the summer to kind of sharpen those tools. How is it for you, right, going from kind of fresh out of college and then right into the coaching, and kind of, I guess you could say, like, taking off the helmet and putting on the whistle for you? Like, was that a harder part for you, or was it like finding your voice, right? Like, I guess that's kind of the same thing, but, like, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, that transition.
The transition, it kind of had its ups and downs at first. And being able to work with a staff that's as accomplished in the lacrosse world as, Stephen Boyle, national champ at Hopkins and MLL, Tucker Durkin, all-world defender, Joel Tinney, all-world midfielder. And just being able to, go in an office every day and just ask questions, and they immediately have a million answers on the board. Just meeting with those guys and being a D-middie myself, working with Tucker, it's been great. It seems like he's got every answer in the book. Which I don't know how he does it, but it's been great being able to.
A lot of miles. They got a lot of miles.
I can't imagine how many more miles I got to go just to get to that point.
Right.
But finding my voice has been like the biggest thing, and it's been a smoother transition than I initially thought it was going to be, for sure.
That's
awesome.
Great.
That's awesome, man. With that being said, and, like, kind of getting your feet wet in coaching now in year 2, right, and finding your voice and things like that, like, where do you find yourself more comfortable, right? Is it in the film room breaking down, like, stuff individually with guys or with a position group, or is it, like, on the field between the lines, really hammering down drills and different things like that? Where do you find yourself more comfortable? And if it was more comfortable last year, what's the new one this year? Kind of, where are you at with that?
I'd say it's definitely kind of my on-field presence has definitely grown in the past year. And, last year it was more so just in the film room, getting on the staff, working with the face-off guys and the wing play. I always see everyone doing the film, obviously, for offense and defense. So I was like, all right, I got to do this with the face-off guys and the wings. And
don't leave them hanging.
Yeah, exactly.
They get you the ball. Don't leave them hanging.
Face-off guys are people too, just like punters.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. Shout out to the punters out there.
Shout out to punters
and the kickers. Let's not leave those guys
out.
No,
don't forget them. They're important. So definitely those times in the film room, especially this year, has developed my ability to break down and see little tidbits of the game that you don't necessarily see on the fly, whether that's during the games and the practices. Once you just watch it for like a 5th, 6th, 7th time over again, and you find those things. And, that's been really my, I guess, masterpiece per se, or my biggest skill right now has been doing that. And I can tell by doing more film sessions, these guys are getting, their IQ of the game has started to grow as well. And that's why I just try to teach them.
Yeah, it's twofold, right? Like the more that you watch and the more that you try to like break down your film and whether it's a practice, whether it's like one, you're practicing yourself, right? Finding these things, but two, it's only going to benefit the guys, right? So, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, we spoke to someone in our last podcast and their thing, they were talking about like just the stick skills, right? And every coach out there, I'm sure we've all had them, and says, hit the wall, hit the wall, hit the wall. Like 1A is that, 1B is watch a lot of film, right? Watch a lot of film. And I feel like that's great, man. It's a good answer. I like that.
So we talked about finding our coaching voice, right? And have you ever had to completely change your coaching style for like a generation of players? You know, like I heard a podcast once with Coach Tierney, and he said, "Hey, you got to coach the team you have." You know, do you find now in year two having to maybe change up one or two things instead of like that you didn't have to do last year, or say, "Hey, you know, I'm going to do this because this." You know what I mean?
I would say it's almost changed from when I went from a player to a coach. And
Right, right,
when
totally.
I was playing, um, I entered college, it was fall of 2018. And as crazy as it seems, the world is so much different now than it was just 8 years ago. And
Amen to
when
that.
by the time I got to my senior year, the 21-22 season,
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
things, just the world was different. And then by the time I did a fifth and sixth year, then the world was different. And just how I was as a captain, as a player to now as a coach, again, kids are different, pop
Yep.
culture is different. So
Yep.
it's little tidbits,
Yep.
from last year to this year as well. But I'm a little bit more of an old school style person, and there's not too many of them left, especially at
No.
my age. So I guess it's the thing that's been changing is finding a way to bring that old school accountability
Yep.
Yeah,
with
nice.
Yep.
new school of like not necessarily comforting or like babying, but
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
sure the guys making sure like, hey, we're all in right here. But
Yep.
also, if you're not all in right here, there's going to be constant. Like you got to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it. There's no plan B basically.
There's got to be
I love that.
some sort of line, right?
Yep.
Because at that point, if you don't, then
You know, what are we
I mean,
doing?
they're kids, right? They're 18 to
Yeah.
21, 22, sometimes 23-year-old kids, and the attention span's different, right? And we can all think of our college days, and all of a sudden, airplane or helicopter, and you're just like, wait, no, I got to lock in.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the hardest part, I guess, like when you went from player to now coach, or not the hardest part, but what's something? We'll go this way. What's something you took from being a player, right? Playing for, you were fortunate enough, unfortunate enough, like you said earlier, having some extra years. What's something, and being a captain, what's something you took from like your captainship or your leadership that you're trying to take into your coaching, or like what's something you were taught, right, as a leader, that you're like, hey, like this is just a part of me, and whether you want to bring it to the whole team, the group that you coach, whatever it is, like what's something that you kind of carry with you?
And kind of breaking that into two things that I've brought is one of them is, the last guy is just as important as that top guy. If that bottom guy is not all mentally checked in, if he's kind of just checked out, looking forward to, when can I go home for the summer? When is our season over? Like,
Yep.
I'm tired of these long ass practices. If he's mentally checked out, there's going to be that crack in the system.
Yep.
And that crack is just like, metal, when it rusts and that crack gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it's going to break at some point. So it's
100%.
really just
Totally.
trying to bring everybody on board, bring them all onto the ship, and making sure we're staying packed together, and then really just having fun with it. Like your point, these are 18 to 22, 23-year olds. Like there's still kids in a way, like let's have
Yeah.
some fun with it. And that's what
Absolutely.
in these film sessions, I always try to, lead off with a little joke or crack a joke with the guys and, bring some motivation, but jokes at the same time to be like, hey, we're still a family. We're going to have some fun, but we got a job to do. So
Yeah.
that's really, I would guess, say my styles and what I've brought into coaching.
They got to see you as a human, right? Like we're
Yeah.
not like it's. Sometimes it's funny. It's like a kid will be like 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. Like, hey, you up in the office? Can I get a piece of mesh? It's like, well, I also have a family, buddy.
Yeah.
They got to see you as a human. And I feel like that's how you build a good connection with those guys. And that's also, it's how you can push guys a little bit, right? To that old school point is like, you've built that relationship. You've went through the good times, the bad times, the hard days, the long days, whatever you want to call it, all the cliche stuff. But that builds that trust and that bond with the guys that you're coaching, whether it's on your side of the ball or just that team in general. And definitely with like a staff, like if everybody's grinding and working hard to, get wins are hard to get. Right. And, I think the kids really see that. And I think when they see that, they give you that extra percent, right? Especially on those hard days.
So, Ben, switching it over to a little recruiting here. When you're on the road and you're looking for some the next level of next year of Dragons, what matters more? Is it talent or is it the culture fit for you and the staff in Philly?
I'd be lying if I didn't say both. I think everybody, you don't want to just lean one way so hard to the other, and obviously you want to get the best players that you can get. But it's really about finding those pieces to the puzzle, and that's what being a coach really is. You're a puzzle master. You're trying to figure out like, all right, I got this piece. Is it going to fit, or does it belong in another puzzle? I'm not going to try to get this puzzle piece into this one if it doesn't fit. If it's meant for another one, and that's just like recruiting. You just got to make sure, everyone it's 2026. There's enough talent basically now. And
absolutely
we could see it all over the place at, the D2, D3 JUCO level. Like there are kids that can ball. Watching that championship game yesterday and just seeing like the flying, diving goals. I said to my brother who played at Stony Brook, I said, man, 5-10 years ago, like if you tried anything, it wasn't a thing. You get yelled at, like say try that again, you're getting benched. So it's almost turned into finding the talent, and it's all right, now I know these 100 guys are talented enough to play here. It just turns into that finding the right culture fit, and that's what that was like our first step as a staff last year. In year one was just identifying who are we, and now we need to find those kids who fit the Drexel culture.
To that point, though, right? You just kind of opened up a new door. I would say is new staff, right? All you guys are new at the school. When you guys sat in that room and you guys all got together, what did you come up with as like these are the guys we want? Like X's and O's, like talent aside, what's the kind of guy that you guys are looking for? Right? Like if there's we always like to say we don't know where the heck this podcast is going to go, but if there's a kid out there that's listening and he's interested in Drexel, like what's Drexel looking for outside of the talent scope? Like what kind of person is going to be part of Drexel's culture?
We want a kid who's tough, and obviously you come to our field, you come to our campus, we embrace where we are to the fullest. We're right in the heart of the city in West Philadelphia, and it's called a gritty town. I mean, the Flyers mascot is called Gritty for a reason. We embrace that. So we want to take these kids who they're not just here for the vibes. They're not just here to say they're Division One. It's all right. You show up on campus, you're going to be tough. If there's a ground ball, like you're going to put your body on the line for all your 50, 47, whatever the number is, brothers. So having a kid that's tough, that's really family oriented, and just is really motivated, I would say are like the key traits to what we look for in a recruit.
That is a gritty field. I love it. I loved it there. When at Merrimack, when we were Division II, we practiced there for our national championship game in Philly, and I was just like, this place, you walk in there, it's like, okay, so people, it's a hard hat place. People got to put the hard hat on, and you go to work there. That's great. I mean, and kind of jumping off of that, like that's the culture part. What do you specifically yourself, right? What's the first thing you notice on like a kid's highlight tape that you're like, I'm gonna watch more than the 20 seconds. I'm going to watch the whole thing. What's the first thing you're kind of looking for of like, yep, he has it. Let's continue to watch, or let's put him in the keep an eye on bucket?
For me, it's athleticism. Obviously, you can find kids like Chris Cloutier, who's not the fastest guy in the world, who's
Yep.
just going to run through somebody. But that strength, I've really still put that into the athleticism standpoint.
100%.
So it doesn't. You don't have to be running like a 4.40
No.
for you to be athletic. But can you withstand hits? Are you able to use like get up and down the field? Are you going to get tired? And I'm somebody that grew up. Basketball was what I thought I was going to play my whole life. So that's where, when I see a kid play, it's all right. What other sports does he play? Does he play football? Does he play soccer, hockey, basketball? Because if you're only playing lacrosse, and you guys know it very well, you've been around it, you see the kids that burn out, and
100%.
Absolutely.
it's a real thing. So looking for the athleticism is my biggest thing, and you can kind of tell that from time to time. That's what really catches my eye personally.
What's the favorite part of recruiting for you? Is it, I'm not going to say sound silly and say, it's the driving around, right? We all know that ain't it, but like
it ain't the windshield.
Yeah, no, but like what's
windshield.
what's the favorite part of recruiting, for you now going into it as we're getting ready to pack up and hit the road here?
It's probably been the relationships, and this past December was my first time going down to the coaches convention, and and even stuff like this, chatting with you guys. It's awesome getting to meet other coaches and find I can be a little bit of a lax rat, and finding other guys that love the sport, love just talking about it. Like I could talk about this type of stuff for like more than 24 hours. Like honestly, I could just go on a ramble. So being able to go on the road and find both other coaches who are passionate about it, make the connections, and even see these kids, and also just see how far the game has grown over the years, and seeing the license plates that say like from Texas or Oklahoma or they're flying from all around. It's you're in this sport, you're in this industry of coaching college lacrosse. The more schools that have lacrosse, the better. This sport is in the Olympics, so the more that we can get this game to grow and keep those relationships building has been my favorite part about really about recruiting. I know it went on a little bit of a tangent there, but
no, I mean that's it, right?
The relationships and the growth of lacrosse.
We've done a couple of these podcasts, and everybody has kind of come around and come back to saying that the brotherhood of the assistant coaches, right? Like part of the reason why we wanted to start this and get this going is because it is a brotherhood, right? Like, I mean, we see each other all over the sidelines all summer long, all fall long, all winter long. We're out the road and recruiting and stuff. And it is, instead of just giving, the old tip of the hat, we can get on here, talk, get to know you more, you get to know us more. It is that true brotherhood of, assistant coaches. That is kind of cool when you get into it.
It is fun.
So it's a perfect answer for that question for sure.
I feel like a lot of people that you meet along the way. I mean, you have an all-time staff. You have some greats on there, but it's like you get to a sideline and it's like, whoa, there's this legend or that legend or this guy that I just watched play pro last night, and he's up catching a flight and he's at Delaware Turf or something like that. It is fun to see all these guys, and then I think it's I feel like we're all fans of lacrosse first, like yourself. You didn't think you were going to get into this. We're all fans of lacrosse first, and then when you meet guys on the road and when you're just, you chopping it up or hanging out after a tournament and you might be in the same hotel, I feel like that's what helps us like root for just random teams, random guys. Like there's plenty of guys I know that aren't at the top D3 schools, but it's like, hey, you go online, you check, see how they did, shoot them a text. It's just those relationships that I think are awesome and so important about this, that it really gets us all through those times, right? Where it's late July, we're all grinding, we're all tired.
We're going to Angelo's for a sub.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're trying to get a good sub in us, and then you can lean on each other, and examples of it that have happened this past year is just not just assistant coaches, but coaches in general just coming around for each other, being there for each other. So I think that's one of the coolest things too, is the people that you meet. It could be somebody that you played against and had battles against, right, for so many years, and then now you guys are both coaching and might be on the same staff, might not be, but now you're boys, right? Or you kind of you figure it out because you've gone through the same crap together, right?
So another little recruiting question here. What's the most overrated thing in lacrosse recruiting right now, in your opinion?
Playing in so many tournaments, the
Yes.
constant just playing every weekend. And, I remember when I was playing and it was the first year of Naptown, summer 2016. And we had guys, I played in a tournament, Saturday, Sunday, and then Naptown was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I thought that was a lot playing in that. And now you have kids that are playing in 7 tournaments. Oh, and then I want to play in that showcase. Oh, and my high school is going to go to NHSLS both sessions. So I think the whole doing more to get exposure is the most overrated thing. You got to pick out your events, go to those, and then put the best, 2 to 3 minutes that you can from those events. But the more the merrier does not apply.
Yeah, I feel like it's the quality, not the quantity. Right.
Exactly.
At that point. Like, I mean, you see some of these kids, and I forget what tournament it was I was at last year. And it was after like the 4th of July break, maybe middle of July. And I was like, and it was a midweek tournament before one of the big dogs. And I think I counted like 7 kids go down with like intense cramps or just like couldn't do it anymore because they were just so gassed. And I'm like, that's not helping anyone.
No.
That's not helping anyone. That's not helping you, number one, but it's also not helping, like, it's not helping the squad get recruited. Like, you might already have your spot and you're just going to hang out, like, try to play lacrosse, right? But you're not helping the team, right? And you see some of these kids just get so beat up and so gassed, and, I mean, hot days, and these guys are getting slashed and running around like crazy. I feel like when we grew up, I know when I was in the recruiting process, it was like, maybe 4 tournaments, maybe 5, like maybe 5, and that's a stretch. And like you went to like Long Island once, you went to upstate, you did something around here, like we're in Massachusetts, so you did something around here, and then you played like with your high school team a lot, with some dad coaching. And nowadays it's like every day you can find a tournament.
I think there was 2. I mean, being the senior on this call here today,
He's the old guy. He's the old guy.
There was literally
He's the old guy.
2 around here, and that was it. One of them was indoor, and it was in like a Thunderdome, and then the other ones the other one was outside, and that's kind of all it was. And you had your high school tape, and there was 2 club teams, 3 club teams.
Was it literally tape, or was it a DVD?
No, it was a DVD. It was. I'm not that old, man. Come on, but like that was it. And now, like you said, seeing all these kids go to pack the car and see them at the next one, and it's like, it's one thing for us to be doing it, but for the same kid to be going back and forth and back and forth, and then expected to go play football, if they play football or a fall sport, soccer or run track, which is great. We want to see that. Right. But, then they're expected to go perform at another sport. You're like, man, like it's a grind. And I don't know if it's the best grind, but I agree with that. Too many things is definitely overrated right now. I think some kids need to kind of take a deep breath, pick and choose, like you said, and go from there.
And put some faith in the club coaches, or like who's helping you get recruited, right? Like, hey, like, what do you think are the best 4? What are the best 3, 4 tournaments? Give me 2 showcases, maybe a couple prospect days or something like that, and just go out there and ball and have good quality on your film, right?
I mean, they're still kids at the end of the day. Like,
go to the beach.
Like,
go have fun, man.
You're not in school. Like, enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's
like it's about to be a job. Like, it is about to be full time.
Yes.
So enjoy the summers that you have to be a kid, right? And I mean, some of the stuff is wild. But I one question that I asked a little bit ago on a podcast here, I want to ask you, because it's been in my brain. So I'm sorry for switching back for a second, because you're a recent, I'll call you still a recent player, whether you're a player or a coach, and it's a 2-parter. Give me one game that haunts you still, that you lost.
Oh,
that you lost. All right. And then we'll go the positive because I don't want you to get negative on me. And then we'll go, what's like a game that just randomly will pop in your head and you're smiling. You're like, yeah, that was awesome. Or like, that was fun that we won. Right. What's one that keeps you up at night that you're like, damn, I wish we could get that back?
Oh, easy. 2022 MAC championship.
Okay.
I mean, that lost by 1 to Manhattan in the MAC championship. I'd gotten hurt that season. We had, I can't even count how many players we had hurt that year. Going into we were blessed to have Brett Dobson as our goalie that season.
That
having
a
all-world
That's
goalie
good
always helps.
That's good insurance right there.
Yeah, 22 saves in the MAC semifinals always, was a little bit of a boost. And then we get to the championship game, and we were down. Me starting D-Mitty, we were down. Starting O-Mitty got hurt in the championship game. Down starting defenseman, 2 second line O-Mids, and the MAC player of the year on offense. All 6 of us hurt for that game, and we still lost by 1 in that game. And we had a shot at, as time expired, hit the pipe. And it's just like, man, if that ball was just, 2 inches to the left, it could have been a lot different. And I'm such a competitive guy that I don't care if it was a game that I'm playing or not. Like, I just want to win. And that one, when we, funny enough, we scrimmaged Manhattan back in January before we scrimmaged you guys at Lowell.
Yep.
And when we were scrimmaging Manhattan, it was the first time I had faced Manhattan since that championship.
So the chip was there,
So, we go for film, and the first thing I put is a clip from the final couple seconds, and it's Manhattan rushing the field. I didn't say a word. I just said, tomorrow, and I just walked out of the film room.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, man.
One always will live with me. But
I'm sorry to any of your boys that are going to be listening to this. I don't want to bring back any bad memories, but I had to ask.
Yeah.
I had to ask you. But we'll go positive now.
The group chat will probably get a little fired up.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry, fellas.
But
right.
on
as
the
long as the
positive
Bonnies
side,
listen, we're good.
Yeah. Probably go back to a better championship memory would be, high school state championship. I went to Springfield Delco outside of Philly, and we were able to win the state championship, and that was, it was a great atmosphere. There was about 2,500 people at that game, just under 3,000 people packed Westchester East High School. So, being able to play in such a great environment. Obviously, college is so much fun and getting to represent a university, but getting to play for your town and seeing the people of your township and all the kids who are growing up to, and inspiring you be at that game. And, getting to see, obviously, raising the trophy was great, but seeing the community feeling with that and, having that the banner. Call me washed to go back to high school all you want.
No. Listen,
that was probably my favorite memory.
I had a football coach, an assistant coach, ironically enough, and where we played back in Peabody High, and
shout out Tanners.
Yeah, and he would always say, you're not going to remember, you're not going to remember the guy you had, math class with. You're not going to remember the guy you had, science with, gym class with, or whatever. You're always going to remember the guys and the stories that you have on the field, right? Like, and in your high school, there's the college members are always going to be there, right? But like we said before, that's the job part of it. You know what I mean? We still want to have fun, but that's still like the job full timeness of it all. Yeah. But hearing that story, that's that gives you chills, right? Those are the stories you get. You see, the people from town that show up to the games, and show up to that championship game that you see, and they see you and they remember you, and like you said, hoisting the trophy at your hometown is something special. So that's awesome. That's not washed. That's legit.
No, that's legit. Especially that's legit ball down there, right? Mm-hmm. That's legit ball. That's awesome, man. It's good for you. Okay.
So one thing that every parent should understand about college sports. It's a broad college sports thing, but parents are listening, right? And their kids are recruitable ages, or they've already gone out, they've already graduated, or, they're not of recruitable ages, but they're just kind of cruising around listening to this podcast because we have awesome guests on and we're pretty funny to listen to. But like, give one thing that from your perspective, that every parent should understand about college sports?
You know, you guys talked about how it's a job, and it really is. And it's really like a 40-year everyone. I remember always hearing Coach Seth Tierney at Hofstra going to his prospect camp, and he always said that, it's a job, but it's also a job that lasts for a whole lifetime, because there's so much that goes into it, and it really prepares you for life. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be times where you might question things. Getting up at 5 a.m. for conditioning at 6 a.m. You're going to question a lot of things about what you're doing. And even, coaches, we always know that there's going to be times where we have to be the bad guy, good guy, bad guy, or good cop, bad cop.
Yep.
Totally.
But understand that these coaches are still out there trying to set your kid up for life. And it's, it's a job that will work on different life skills for you. You're going to be, you always see different jobs. They always say they love to hire athletes because they have a work ethic. They are able to understand, constructive criticism is a good thing, and what, people need to have in their lives, to where if they face, pressure in sports, college sports is nothing compared to the pressure you're going to feel once you leave Drexel or, Merrimack or UMass Lowell. It's going to be once you have a family. I'm not there yet, but the life lessons, the life lessons that you learn from college are going to last a whole lifetime. And that's just, I'll tell them, being in college sports, it will be the best decision, your son or daughter will ever make.
I totally agree.
Love that.
I totally agree. I feel like there's so many, like you brought up the group chat, right? Like there's guys that we still talk to. George and I played. We were fortunate enough to play 2 years together at Dowling College. Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dowling.
All out in Long Island. And if I said it wrong, I keep forgetting if it's on or in. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's so many, like, just whether it's little one-liners or jokes that you're like, man, that was a joke back then, but actually now, like teaching my daughter that or whatnot, it's hilarious.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, we want to thank you very much for coming on. This was awesome getting to know you a little bit, and that's a podcast. That's
think so.
That's the Assistant Desk podcast. So,
is there anything for us? Anything kind of you want to leave anybody listening? You want to leave them with a little farewell? You want to shout out anybody? You got the floor. You got a few minutes.
Oh, pressure! If the pressure's on, and the biggest thing the shout out that I have to give is really to you guys for making this platform, and being able to give coaches like myself and all of the hundreds of assistant coaches around the country. And it goes to such a big level. You look at the guys that have grown from being assistants. You look at, again, Nick Saban's staff, what he's built into the college football and just the football world. And then all the assistants that don't get the glory that are in, whether it's lacrosse, softball, soccer, squash, whatever it is.
We're coming for you all. We're going to get you all on. We're getting you all on.
I mean, there's just hundreds of thousands of coaches out there that do it, and it's not for the money. You do it for the love of the game. Really shout all of them, even the ones that coached me when I was little, that, kept me in the sport. Without them, without the assistant coach, there would be no head coach without the assistant coaches, is what I would say.
That's a tagline right
Love
there.
It. Yeah, we're going to have
That's
to tag
a caption
that
right there.
100%.
Awesome, man.
Awesome, Ben. Well, listen, man, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the road.
Yeah, man. We'll see you soon, brother.
Yeah, good.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, bud.